NEET questions. Okay, so it would be useful for you to solve these type of problems. Okay, fine. So the question number one is a metallic rod of mass per unit length at 0.5 kg per meter is lying horizontally on a smooth inclined plane which makes an angle of 30 degree with the horizontal. The rod is not allowed to slide down by the flowing of current through it when the magnetic field of induction 0.25 Tesla is acting on it in a vertical direction. Okay, we need to find how much current is flowing in the rod. Okay, so I'll give you some 2 or 3 minutes. You can try it out. Okay, try to solve this problem now. Okay, okay, so we have an inclined plane. We can see the inclined plane here. Okay, okay, so we have an inclined plane. Answer is 11.3 ampere. Okay, very good. Okay, so we have the inclined plane. You can see the inclined plane. On this inclined plane, we have placed a wire or rod. Okay, we have placed the rod horizontally. Horizontally means the rod would be inside the plane. See, if you can draw this figure, the rod would be lying inside the plane. Okay, so for inside the plane, like let us suppose I made the rod by cross sign. Okay, so we can see a rod here. We can see a rod here. Okay, and that rod is horizontally means it is inside the plane. Fine. Now this inclination is 30 degree. A magnetic field is there. A magnetic field B is there, which is acting in the vertical direction. Okay, so we have a magnetic field. Okay, and that magnetic field is acting on the vertical direction like this. Fine, that is B. Okay, now we need to find how much current is flowing in this wire. Mass per unit length. The mass per unit length of the wire is given as 0.5 kilogram per meter. Okay, now can you tell me what is the direction of the force due to magnetic field on this rod? 1 ampere. No, answer is not 1 ampere. Okay, so how can you find how much force would be acting? Okay, so we can say that the force on a current carrying conductor is given by what? It is equal to F equal to I L cross B. Okay, where L is the length of the conductor, B is the magnetic field in that. Okay, fine. So it is L cross B. Now, now we can see here what should be the direction of the force acting on this. So if you take a right hand thumb rule, okay, if I place my finger on length is inside the plane, length is inside the plane. So if I place the finger on length side and curl toward the B means vertical. Where is the direction of force acting? The direction of force would be on the right side, and that would be equal to ILB. Okay, I hope to understand how we got this force direction. Okay, that would be ILB. Fine. Now, now the weight of the wire would be acting downward. That is mg sine theta. And one of the component of this magnetic force would be acting along the inclined plane. And that would be ILB cos theta, because this angle would be theta here. Okay, this will be sin theta. Now, if the rod is not allowed to slide down, it means what? It means that the mg sin theta, which is the force component, should be equal to the force due to magnetic field, that is I L B cos theta. Okay, so from here, can we say that the current flowing will be equal to how much? It is mg tan theta by by LP. Okay, so now mass per unit length, m by L value is 0.5. So can we write this as 0.5 into 10? Now tan 30 is how much? 1 by root 3, and magnetic field will be equal to how much? 0.25. Okay, so if you solve, your answer would be approximately equal to 11.3 ampere. Okay, so I hope you got this, how we got this current, that's 11.3 ampere. Okay, so here we are using this concept that force on current carrying wire is IL cross B, and direction of the force is due to right hand rule. Length length cross B. Okay, that should be on the right side. Okay, fine. So that is the answer for the first problem. Okay, that I think this was asked in NEET 1998, 2018. Sorry, 2018. Okay, this question was asked. Fine. Now question number 2. In the arrangement shown, I have not drawn the arrangement. Just see the arrangement here. Okay, no problem. Okay, fine. Okay, we have the arrangement shown. So let us draw the arrangement here. This is B. This is one wire. This is another wire, and we have another wire, three wire. Three wires are there. This is A wire, B wire, and C wire. The distance between A and B is D, and distance between A and C is B, and C is also D. Okay. The wire are such place that the angle is 90 degrees. Now you can see this is the wire, and what does dot means? Dot means the current is flowing out of the plane. Okay, if you take your laptop screen as a plane, then the current will be flowing towards you. Okay, the same for the A case, A wire also it would be flowing towards you, and for C wire also it is flowing towards you. Okay, so this is the arrangement of the three parallel straight wires placed perpendicular to the plane of the paper, carrying current same current, means in all the three cases, in all the three wires we have the same current along the same direction, means out of the plane. Find the magnitude of the force per unit length in the middle wire B. Okay, in the middle wire, what is the force acting per unit length? Okay, we have to find the force acting per unit length on this middle wire. Okay, can you get the answer for this? Try to solve. Okay, this is the arrangement which is given in the figure. Okay, these are the straight wires. A, B, C are the long straight wires. Current is flowing out of the plane. The distance between them is D and D. The, the wires are placed in such a way that they are perpendicular like this. Okay, you have to find the magnitude of the force acting on the B wire. Okay, now if you take B wire, what is the magnetic field on the B wire due to C wire? So if I take this B wire, the magnitude of the magnetic field due to C on B, that would be in this direction, that is BC. Fine. How we have find the direction? Via the right hand thumb rule. To place the thumb on the direction of the current, the finger will show the direction of the magnetic field. So from C, the magnetic field on B will be downward. Okay. Similarly, from A, the magnetic field due to A on B will be on the left side. That is BA. Okay. Now can you tell me what is the value of the magnetic field due to parallel wires? The magnetic field is given by mu naught I by 2 pi d. That is the formula of the magnetic field from Biot-Savart law. From Biot-Savart law, the magnetic field B equal to mu naught I by 2 pi d. So the magnetic field due to B on due to B by A, that is BA, will be equal to how much? Mu naught I by 2 pi d. Similarly, the magnetic field on B due to C, that is BC, will be same as mu naught I by 2 pi d. What is d? D is the distance between the wires. Since it is a parallel wires, the magnetic field would be mu naught I by 2 pi d. Okay. Now, these are the magnetic field and direction we have already shown. That direction for A is on the left side, for C is on the downward side. Okay. Now, what is the force acting on this B wire? So, force on the current carrying wire is given by I length cross B vector. Length cross B vector is given by force. Okay. Now, now can you tell me what is the direction of force on B due to A? Uh, Due to A, yes. Direction of the force on B due to A. See, if you use Fleming left hand rule, okay, the current flowing is outward, okay, current is outward, magnetic field is downward. So we can say, so where is the force acting? Force acting due to C. The force acting due to C will be in this direction, right side, that is FBC. I think you got this, how we got direction of FBC by Fleming left hand rule. Okay, so if we use Fleming left hand rule, the direction of force due to C on B will be on the left right side. Similarly, if I use Fleming left hand rule, the force on B due to A will be downward. So you can also use the Fleming left hand rule and see whether I have written correct or not. Just, just look at the direction here. Current will be in the middle finger, then force on the thumb, and this index finger we have magnetic field. So, so if you use Fleming left hand rule, you'll get this direction. Okay. Now, what is the force magnitude of force BC? The magnitude of force BC will be equal to current I into length, current I into length, and B means magnetic field due to C. Okay. So what is the value of magnetic field due to C? That is IL, that is equal to mu naught I by 2 pi d. So mu naught I by 2 pi d. That is the force on B due to C. Similarly, the force on B due to A, it is IL into BA, which is equal to IL. BA is how much? Mu naught I by 2 pi d. Okay. So we found the magnitude of DC and BA. Okay. Now we need to find force per unit length. So what we can do? We can take this left hand L on this side. So we get FBC by L equal to I into mu naught I by 2 pi. And similarly here also, if we divide here, FBA by L, that would be equal to I into mu naught I by 2 pi d whole square. Okay, fine. So I think the net resultant force will be along this direction, that is F net. So F net will be equal to square root of FBC whole square plus FBA whole square. Okay, so that would come as, I think, mu naught I square by root 2 pi d. Okay, okay, root 2 pi d. That is the answer, I think we are getting here. Yes. So mu naught I square by root 2 pi d is the answer. I hope you got this. I think you all understood this problem. Okay. Okay, fine. So this was again asked in NEET exam. So NEET exam, the questions are simple application of the concept which we have studied. Okay. Now next problem, question number 3. A long wire carrying a steady current is bent in a circular loop of 1 turn. The magnetic field at the center of the loop is B. It is then bent into a circular coil of n turns. The magnetic field at the center of the coil of n turns will be. Okay, that is n square b. Very good. Okay, I think you have done this problem. N square b. Okay, fine. I hope you have got this answer. So let me solve here. So we have the circular loop. Okay, at the center, the magnetic field B for the circular loop at the center will be mu naught I by 2r. Okay, mu naught I by 2r. Fine. Now if I take this loop, if I turn this loop n times, okay. Now the particular loop is turned n times. Then bend it to n turns. Okay, so we can write here as what, that n into 2 pi r dash. The radius of the coil will come r dash. New radius will be r dash. That would be equal to 2 pi r. So from here we get the new radius r dash as r by n. Then the new magnetic field due to n turns will be equal to mu naught n times of mu naught I by 2 r dash. Okay, so b dash will be equal to n mu naught I by 2 r dash is r by n. Okay, so it becomes n square mu naught I by 2r. Okay, so it should be n square b. So if we turn this coil n times, the answer would be n square b. Okay, so again this is the NEET problem. Okay, now question number 4. I think in this question we require a figure. Just wait. Question number 4. Okay, a long straight wire of radius A carries a steady current I. The current is uniformly distributed over the cross section. The ratio of the magnetic field B dash. Okay, the ratio of the magnetic field 1:1. Okay, fine. So a long straight line wire of radius carries a steady current I. The current is uniformly distributed over its cross section. The ratio of the magnetic field B and B dash at a radial distance of A by 2 and 2 by A from the axis of the wire. Okay, so somebody gave me the answer, that is A 1:1. Okay, fine. So can anyone also get me the same answer? Okay, so let us draw the first of all wire here. Let us suppose this is the wire of radius A. A wire of radius A is there. Okay, I'm explaining. Okay, I'm explaining only. Okay, so we have the wire of radius A. We can assume this is radius is A. Fine. Carries a steady current I. The current is uniformly distributed over its cross section. The ratio of the magnetic field B and B dash at a point A by 2 and 2A respectively are. So we can assume this as axis of the wire. Okay. If I assume the axis of the wire and if I take some point P at a distance of A by 2. Okay, then can I find the current passing through this point P? Can we find the current in this case? Okay, so we have to go at a distance of A by 2 and we need to find the current flowing through this A by 2 cross section. So we can write here as the current passing through this area, through this area means the shaded area which I have taken here. Okay, that would be equal to pi pi a by 2 whole square by pi a square into current I, because for whole cross section of radius A the current is I. So for a by 2 what will be the current magnitude? That would be equal to pi a by 2 whole square divided by pi a square into I. So that will come as how much? I think I by 4. Okay, it should be I by 4. So current flowing through the radius of A by 2 is how much? I by 4. Okay. Now, similarly, if I take another point Q at a radial distance of 2A from the axis of the wire. Okay, fine. Now, this is the first, let me see here. From point P, the current flowing is through this area is I by 4. What is the magnetic field at point P? So, magnetic field at point P would be given by mu naught into current through this path, current mu naught into current through this cross section area divided by the distance from the axis, that is r we can say. Okay, or here we can say r we have taken this distance here. Okay, the remain not current through this cross section by r. Fine. So what is the magnetic field at point B? That is b dash we can take. No, it is b. So b equal to mu naught, that is I by 4 divided by r. R is how much? A by 2. That will come as how much? Into 2 pi also will be there. Okay, so that would be equal to mu naught I by 4 pi a. Okay, that is a magnetic field at point P. Now point P is at a distance of a by 2 from the axis of the wire. Okay, now we have to find the magnetic field at this point Q, which is 2a distance away from this axis of the wire. So magnetic field, okay, at 2a distance, that is b dash, that would be equal to mu naught by 2 pi I into r. Now r is the radial distance, so that would be mu naught I by 2 pi. R is how much? 2a from the axis of the wire. Okay, so we get b dash equal to mu naught I by 4 pi a. That is b dash, and b value we got as mu naught I by 4 pi a. So if I find the ratio of b by b dash, that will come as mu naught I by 4 pi a divided by mu naught I by 4 pi a. That is 1:1 is the answer. Okay, so in this question is not very difficult. You have to find the current flowing through this cross section area, which is a by 2, which will come as I by 4. Then we have to find the magnetic field at this point P, that is going by mu naught into current through this section divided by 2 pi r. R is the distance from the axis. So that will come as mu naught I by 2 pi into 4 into a by 2. Okay, fine. So it will come as mu naught I by 4 pi a. That is B, magnetic field at this point. And magnetic field at this point is B dash. So the ratio will come as 1:1. Okay. I hope you all understood this problem. Yes or no? Any doubt? You can ask. Okay. Now next problem is a square loop ABCD carrying a current I is placed near a coplanar long straight line wire, straight line conductor XY carrying a current I. Okay. Oh, this is small I. Okay. Take this as small I. Just wait, some problem is there. Wait. Is my screen visible to you all? Okay, I think some problem is there in my PPT. Just wait. Okay, now it is fine. Okay, so they take this as I dash, I, small I. Okay, this is capital I, this is small I. Fine. Okay, so we have a square loop. Can you draw this figure here? Uh, Let us suppose this is square loop A, B, C, D. A, B, C, D. In this loop, the current I is flowing. Okay, we have a long straight wire XY. We have a long straight wire. We have a long straight wire I in which the current flowing is I. This is XY wire and the current flowing is capital I. Okay, fine. You have to find the net force acting on this loop. Okay, can you solve this problem? And let us suppose distance between this wire and this loop is L by 2 and this length is L. Okay, the square loop of length L and distance from this wire to this loop is L by 2. Okay, wait, let me draw properly this. Okay, just wait, I am drawing properly. Okay, so this is a square loop. Fine. A, B, C, D. Current flowing is I in this loop. Length is L. Distance from this wire to this length is L by 2. Okay. You have to find the net force acting on this loop. Okay. Can you get me the answer for this? Okay. Now, 0. Okay. 0. Fine. Anyone else? 0. BIL by 2. Okay. Mu naught IN by 2. Okay. 2 by 3 mu naught I by pi. Very good. Correct answer. mu naught 2 by 3 mu naught I by pi. Very correct answer. Okay, so your answer is correct. So just see here. First of all, what is the direction of magnetic field acting on AD length? If you take this loop, this is AB, BC, CD, and AD. What is the direction of magnetic field acting on AD? That would be inside the plane, because if you take right hand thumb rule, the magnetic field will be inside. So we can say here this is cross. Okay, inside the plane. Okay. Now can you tell me what is the force acting on AD wire by Fleming left hand rule? The force acting on the AD wire will be upward on the left side. Okay, just wait. Okay, the force acting, if I take this direction of current anti-clockwise, then answer would be easier for us. Okay, take this direction as anti-clockwise, like this, clockwise. Okay, then direction of the force acting on AD wire would be on the left hand side by the Fleming left hand rule. It is FAD. Okay, so uh, you have to place the middle finger in the current direction. Magnetic field is inside the plane, and you will see that the thumb is pointing from the left hand side. You can see there the current is on the middle finger. Then we have the index finger, that is B. B is acting inside the plane. The thumb shows the direction. The direction is FAD on the right hand side, left hand side. Similarly, the force acting on BC. So again, we do the same thing. Magnetic field is inside, current is downward, magnetic field is inside. The force will be acting in which direction? Right hand side. Okay. So force on AD will be on the left hand side. The force on BC will be on the right hand side. Okay. What is the force acting on DC and AB wire? In which direction? See, if you look at this, the force acting on DC. Now, first of all, magnetic field will not be same for DC wire. It will decrease as we go from D to C. Okay. The same here, the magnetic field will decrease as we are moving from A to B. Okay. It is inside the plane, but it is decreasing downward, decreasing. So as we go from D to C, it is decreasing. As we go from A to B, it is decreasing. Okay. And direction of the magnetic force on DC, that would be what? Current upward. Okay. For DC, it is upward, FDC, and for AB, it is downward. And since the magnetic field is varying in the same rate, these two forces, the force on DC, the magnitude of force on DC, and magnitude of force on AB are same, but they are opposite side, which means net force becomes zero. Okay, the net force becomes zero for DC and AB length. Fine. So why it is zero? Because direction of force are opposite. So there is no force on this wire, that is force on FDC plus FAB 0, which means what? There is no force on DC and AB wire, but there is force on AD and BC wire. And how to get that force? First of all, we have to find the magnetic field on AD. So what is the value of magnetic field? So force on AB wire, force on AB wire will be equal to I L cross B. Okay, I L cross B is the force on AB wire. Okay, and what is the value of magnetic field there? Okay, so if you take these are the two long current carrying wires, magnetic field due to this wire on AD, that will be B will be equal to VAT will be equal to how much? Mu naught I by 2 pi L by 2. Okay, mu naught I by 2 pi L by 2. This would be capital I. Okay. Similarly, the magnetic field on BC. Okay, this is AD. Magnetic field on AD and magnetic field on BC will be equal to mu naught I by 2 pi. Now the distance from this wire is how much? That is L plus L by 2, which is 3L by 2. 3L by 2. So magnetic field on AD is mu naught I by 2 pi L by 2 and BC is mu naught I by 2 pi 3L by 2. Now force acting on AD will be equal to I L cross B. So I into length into B value is how much? Mu naught I by 2 pi L by 2. Okay. So L and L will get cancelled out. L and L will get cancelled out. So we get what? Mu naught I by pi. That is the force on AD wire. Similarly, the force on BC wire will be equal to same. That is I L B. So I into length into B. Magnetic field on BC is how much? Mu naught I by 3 pi into 3L by 2. Okay, fine. So length and length will get cancelled out. Okay, so it will come as I think mu naught I by 6 pi. No, 6 will not come. 2, 2, this is 2. 2, 2 get cancelled out. So 3L, 3 pi. Now we can see that direction of AT and BC are opposite. Okay, so net force is F AD minus FAT minus FBC. So that is I I mu naught I by pi minus mu naught I by 3 pi. Okay, so if you solve, you'll get something around 2 by 3 mu naught I by pi is the net force acting on the loop. Okay, I hope you understood this. Okay, what if you look at this? These two forces will be cancelled out. FDC and FAB will cancel out. FAD will be on the left side and FBC will be on the right side. Then we have to find the magnetic field at AD and magnetic field at BC. And then we can use the formula of force, which is I and B. Okay, so that force we can easily find from this formula. Okay, from this method. Fine. Did you understand this? Okay. Now next problem is a proton and alpha particles both enter a region of uniform magnetic field, moving at a right angle to the field. If the radius of the loop, circular loop, by both the wires, both the particles is equal, means radius is equal, and the kinetic energy acquired by the proton is 1 mega electron volt. Find the energy acquired by the alpha particle. Okay, so both alpha particle and the protons are entering the field. Okay, moving means we can assume that magnetic field is inside the plane. Okay, so we have two particles. One is alpha. Okay, one is alpha. Other is proton. Both enters the field. Okay, and both make the same radius r. Okay, fine. So we can see here in this case the angle between alpha and beta is 90 degree because magnetic field we assume inside the plane and alpha and part and proton are moving in the plane. So the angle between them is 90 degree. Okay. Now, now can we find the radius of the particle? So the radius of the charged particle will be equal to mv by bq. mv by bq. Okay, fine. This is the radius of the charged particle. Okay, when it is moving in a magnetic field. So can we say the velocity of the charged particle will be equal to how much? bqr by m. Okay, so velocity of the charged particle will be bqr by m. Okay, fine. So I think this we have studied. Okay, so that that radius of the charged particle will be b mv by bq, and this will be bqr by m is the velocity of the charged particle. Okay. Now, what is the kinetic energy of the particle? The kinetic energy of the particle is half mv square. Okay. So can we write this as half m? V value is how much? bqr by m whole square. So it should be what? Half m into v square q square by r square by m square. So kinetic energy will come as v square q square r square by 2m. So this is the kinetic energy of the particle. Okay, any charged particle, if you take alpha particle or beta particle, alpha particle or proton, both will have the same kinetic energy. Okay. Now, now in the question itself, they have given us that the kinet that the radius of the charged particle for both the particles are equal. The radius is equal for both the particles. So and kinetic energy is given by b square q square r square by 2m. Okay. So the of kinetic energy of the particle will be proportional to q square by m. Is this correct or not? Why? Why I can write here? Because radius of both the particles are same. So can I directly write, and B is same, B is also not changing, magnetic field is also not changing, radius is also same for the both particle. So can we say the kinetic energy will be proportional to q square by m? So if I find the kinetic energy of alpha particle, that would be equal to charge on alpha whole square by mass of alpha whole mass of alpha. Okay. So what is the charge on alpha particle? Okay, that is the kinetic energy of alpha particle. Similarly, the kinetic energy of proton will be equal to charge on proton whole square by mass of the proton. Okay, if I find the ratio of kinetic energy of proton by kinetic energy of alpha particle, that will come as the charge on proton whole square by mass of the proton into mass of the alpha particle by charge on the alpha whole square. Okay, so what is the charge on proton? That is we can assume as E. Okay, E square by mass of the proton is mass of the proton is how much? M. Okay, into the mass of the alpha particle is 4 times of mass of the proton divided by charge on the alpha particle is how much? That is 4E. Okay, fine. So if you solve, you'll get all will got cancelled out. We'll get the ratio as 1:1, which means what? Means that the kinetic energy of proton is equal to kinetic energy of alpha particle, and the kinetic energy of alpha particle proton is given by 1 megapascal. Therefore, the kinetic energy of alpha particle will also be same as 1 mega electron volt. Okay, 1 mega electron volt is the kinetic energy of the alpha particle. Okay, so that is the answer for this problem. Okay, fine. I hope you understood this problem. Okay, now next problem. An electron is moving in a circular orbit of radius r, makes n rotation per second. The magnetic field produced at the center has the magnitude of. Okay, an electron is moving. An electron in moving in a circular orbit of radius r makes n rotation in 1 second. Okay, so we can see that. Let us suppose this is the circular path. Okay, an electron of charge E minus is moving on this circular path. Okay, fine. Now we know that the current due to the flow of electron is given by charge of the electron by time taken. Okay, charge of the electron by the time taken means Q by T is the current flowing due to the movement of the electron. Okay, now if you see here, they are telling you they are telling us that the electron makes n rotation per second, which means what? If I take 1 second time, if time is equal to 1 second, the number of rotation is n. So the current flowing will be equal to how much? The current flowing will be equal to nq. In 1 second, how much current will be flowing? That is will be n into q because the electron is making n rotations. So the current will be nq. Okay. Now the magnetic field. So according to Biot-Savart law, the magnetic field at the center, that is B, will be given by mu naught I by 2r. Okay. So mu naught I value is how much? Nq by 2r. So that is the magnetic field produced due to the movement of the electron in a circular path of radius r. Okay, that is mu naught Nq by 2r. Okay, I hope you understand this problem. Mu naught Nq by 2r. Fine. Now next, any doubt is there, you can ask me. Okay, the next problem. The current sensitivity of the moving coil galvanometer is 5 division per milliampere and its voltage sensitivity is 20 division per voltage. Find the resistance of the galvanometer. Okay, fine. So that is the problem here. So here if you see here, the current sensitivity, can we say current sensitivity is Ig, is given by 5 division per milliampere. So if you convert in ampere, we'll get what? 5,000 division per ampere. So that is the current sensitivity of the galvanometer. And the voltage sensitivity, let us suppose Vs is given by 20 division per voltage. So it should be 20 division by voltage. Now what is resistance of the galvanometer? Resistance of the galvanometer will be equal to current sensitivity Ig divided by Vs. Okay, so Ig is given by 5000 by 20. So the answer should come as 250 ohm is the resistance of the galvanometer. That is 250 ohm. Okay, so here the formula for resistance of galvanometer is current sensitivity by voltage sensitivity. Okay, that will come as 250 ohm. Okay, now next problem. A conducting square of side frame A and a long wire carrying current I are located on the same plane as shown in the figure. The frame moves to the right with the velocity of v. The EMF induced in the frame will be proportional to. Okay, so just wait. Can we draw the figure here? So this is a square loop. This is the square loop. Okay, now we have a current carrying wire. A current carrying wire. Fine. Okay, so a current carrying wire with current is flowing is say I. Okay, now the square loop have a distance of A. Okay, the distance of current wire from the center of the loop is x. This is x. Okay, so if this is from center it is x, then what should be the length? A, B, C, D. What should be this length? That would be equal to x minus a by 2, and the length from wire to CB will be equal to how much? That is, this length would be equal to x plus a by 2. Okay, fine. Now the EMF induced. So this is the figure. Okay, this is the figure which is shown in the which was shown in the figure. Okay, so EMF induced will be equal to V1. Let us suppose this end is one wire. This is two wire. V1 VL minus V2 VL. Okay, V1 VL minus V2 VL. Okay, now for D and C there will be no, and the and the loop is moving in this direction V. Okay, so for DC and EP the EMF will not be induced, they will have the same potential, but AD will be B1L and BC will be B2L. So can we find the value of B1? B1 will be equal to mu naught I by 2 pi. Now distance between the current carrying wire and AD is how much? X minus A by 2. Similarly, B2 will be equal to mu naught I by 2 pi x plus A by 2, because the current carrying wire distance from BC is XA by 2. Okay, what is the EMF induced? So EMF induced will be equal to B1 VL minus B2 VL. Okay, B1 value is mu naught I by 2 pi x minus A by 2 into VL minus B2 value is mu naught I by 2 pi x plus A by 2 into VL. Since the length is same, velocity is same, we can write VN only. Okay. Now we can take something common here, that is mu naught I VL by 2 pi is taken as common. It should come as like x minus A by 2 minus of x by A by 2. Okay. So if you solve, you get some answer like EMF will be proportional to the EMF will be proportional to 1 by 2x minus A and 2x plus A. So if you solve, this whole become constant. So it will be proportional to 1 minus 2x minus A into 1 by 2 plus A. So this was the option given in the exam. This is the correct answer. Okay, fine. I hope you all understood this. Okay. Any problem, any doubt? Okay, so time is up. So thank you all. 16 slide, wait. Any slide you want me to show? Okay, so thank you all.